Very good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to Breaking Views on NDTV. I am Ankit Tyagi. It was an important day, day 13th, in the continuous hearing of constitutional validity of Article 370 and 35A in the Supreme Court in front of the constitutional bench. The centre, ladies and gentlemen, told the Supreme Court that the elections in the erstwhile state of Jammu and Kashmir could be conducted anytime now. But the decision lies with the Election Commission and the state poll panel. Reiterating that the Union Territory status of Jammu and Kashmir is temporary, the central government said it cannot, however, give any exact time frame of when Jammu and Kashmir's statehood can be restored. So essentially, the central government told the court today no time frame for restoration of the statehood of Jammu and Kashmir. It also said that the Supreme Court, Centre told the Supreme Court that the restoration of the statehood of Jammu and Kashmir may take some time, and assembly elections will be held after local polls of panchayat and municipal bodies take place. Now, on Tuesday, the constitutional bench of the Supreme Court had asked the government top law officer for a time frame on restoration of democracy and statehood, as the former state is without an elected government now for more than 5 years. Solicitor General Tushar Mehta told the five-judge bench headed by Justice D.Y. Chandrachud, the CJI, some very important things. Let me just read out a few of them. He said elections can be held anytime, as I told you, but decision with the poll panel. He also reiterated that polls will be held in 3 stages. First the panchayat polls, then the municipal polls, and then they will come to the assembly polls. The centre refused to commit on any time frame. The centre also said restoration of statehood will take time. This is work in progress. Now, in the last hearing, the Supreme Court had emphasized on the need to restore democracy, and also once again, the court had said that Jammu and Kashmir has been without an elected government since June 2018. The top court, remember, is hearing a bunch of petitions as far as the scrapping of Article 370 by the government in 2019 is concerned. The centre's top lawyer cited certain parameters and said that the situation in the state, in the Union Territory, I beg your pardon, of Jammu and Kashmir has improved. There is a reduction in violence. Infiltration from Pakistan has also reduced. These are some of the key benefits that Union Territory of Jammu and Kashmir has reaped after the abrogation of Article 370. The government today in the Supreme Court stated 45% reduction in terrorist incidents in comparison to 2023. When you compare 2018 to 2023, infiltration is down by 90%. 97% decrease in stone pelting incident and security forces casualties have been reduced by 67%. Now, these were some, the counsel of the petitioners, Mr. Kapil Sibal, had some very sharp retorts to what the centre had said. I just want to take you through the interesting exchange that took place in the top court.
Most where stone pelting incidents and regular call of band or hartals, means hospitals, schools, every institution where a common man is concerned. From 2018, in 2018 the stone pelting was 1767. It is nil now. Not just because of effective policing or security personnel, but because of various steps, like gainfully employing the youth, etc. They were misled by the secessionist forces, by the forces outside the country, etc. And organized bands, which were in 2852 instances, organized band, call of band by secessionist forces. Nil.
How many?
In 18, they were 52. Now, it is nil.
They are trying to show as to how this enormous change has taken place for the benefit of the people of Jammu and Kashmir. If you have 5,000 people under house arrest and 144 throughout the state, there can be no ban. So let's not, my request to your lordships is, please don't enter into this arena, because we will have to counter it with all kinds of facts, which I don't think is necessary for this court.
What the solicitor was saying is that the roadmap to full statehood would take a little time.
That's obvious.
Right now, that they are the development. There his submission is that right now development work is taking place. Some stability has to be brought about. This is not a permanent arrangement, namely the UT status. They envisage that it will be a movement from UT to statehood again. We can't give you a fixed point of time when we will restore statehood, but they have told us the process which they are following.
So these arguments that were made about the improvement in the security situation, the court also said that they are not central to the important main question that is being debated or argued as far as the court is concerned, that is the abrogation of Article 370, whether it is constitutionally valid or not. Now, as the centre sticks to its position on restoration of democracy and statehood of Jammu and Kashmir, it's now the Supreme Court's decision that will determine the fate of the state. As soon as the centre presented its point of view in the court, there were multiple political reactions from the valley and also from the mainland. Let us listen in to few political reactions.
इसमें कोई नई बात नहीं आई है और ऐसा भी नहीं है कि हमें कोई शक है कि इलेक्शन नहीं होंगे, तो अब 10 साल बाद भी हो सकते हैं, 5 साल बाद भी हो सकते हैं, 5 दिन बाद भी हो सकते हैं. It is a wild guess for anybody to say. So there is nothing new in this statement or nothing serious by this statement. क्यों पार्लियामेंट में कहा है, पार्लियामेंट सबसे बड़ा ऐवान है. पार्लियामेंट में भारत की सरकार ने कहा है, भारत के वजीर आजम ने कहा है, भारत के होम मिनिस्टर ने कहा है कि स्टेटहुड भी बहाल करेंगे और इलेक्शन भी करेंगे.
देखिए, पीडीपी का मौकफ ये है कि हमारे लिए इलेक्शंस और स्टेटहुड प्रायोरिटी नहीं है, गो कि ये वो अहम जुज हैं हमारे हुकूक के जो हमसे छीने गए हैं इलीगली और अनकॉन्स्टिट्यूशनली. इवन सुप्रीम कोर्ट के सामने भी ये कोई मामला ही नहीं है. असल मामला हमारे लिए हमारे हुकूक, हमारा स्पेशल स्टेटस, अनकॉन्स्टिट्यूशनल इलीगली जो 370 और 35A को अब्रोगेट किया गया, और वही मामला, वही सवाल कॉन्स्टिट्यूशन बेंच ऑफ ऑनरेबल सुप्रीम कोर्ट के सामने भी है, और उन्होंने भी आज चीफ जस्टिस साहब ने ये बड़ा क्लियरली बोल दिया. और अभी तक जो हमने देखा है, इलेक्शन कमीशन एक बीजेपी के एक्सटेंशन की तरह काम कर रहा है, न कि एक इंडिपेंडेंट कॉन्स्टिट्यूशनल बॉडी की तरह.
माननीय गृह मंत्री द्वारा, प्रधानमंत्री द्वारा पहले ही संसद में ये कहा जा चुका है कि यहाँ का माहौल साजगार है, परिस्थितियाँ बेहतर हुई है. वहाँ पर आज मिलिटेंसी 90% तक जो है कर्व हो गई है. तो इन सभी परिस्थितियों को देखते हुए इलेक्शन कमीशन ऑफ इंडिया का ये प्रेरोगेटिव है, जब भी वो इस चीज़ की ओर इशारा करते हैं तो इलेक्शन करवाए जा सकते हैं. और भारतीय जनता पार्टी भी इस मांग का समर्थन करती है और लोकतांत्रिक प्रक्रिया जम्मू कश्मीर में बहाल हो, इसका समर्थन करती है. इतना उन्होंने जारी किया है तो स्वाभाविक बात है कि इलेक्शन जल्द होंगे और पार्लियामेंट से पहले भी हो सकते हैं, पार्लियामेंट के साथ भी हो सकते हैं.
So now remember, ladies and gentlemen, before we kickstart the discussion, the last election, assembly election in the state of Jammu and Kashmir took place way back in 2014. It was November to December in 2014 when the multiple phase election took place. Then, of course, in June 2018, the BJP-PDP government collapsed. And in 2019 August, the abrogation of Article 370 took place. Since then, it was declared a union territory. So essentially, from November, December 2014, we are now in August 2023, Jammu and Kashmir has not had any assembly elections, and essentially from 2018 onwards, the state has been without an elected, people's elected government. So as the court, the government has passed the buck to the poll panel saying, we are ready. It is up to the election commission. When will the elections take place in Jammu and Kashmir? Are they going to take place anytime soon? Joining me to discuss this and more, Dr. S.Y. Qureshi. He's the former Chief Election Commissioner of India. We'll also, after speaking to him, go across to Mr. Ajay Alok, spokesperson of the Bharatiya Janata Party. Tanveer Sadiq Sahab of the National Conference will also be joining us. He's the spokesperson for the National Conference. But before I go to my guests, I very quickly want to go across to my colleague Nazir Masoodi, who is joining us from Srinagar. Nazir, what has been the reaction of the people in Srinagar of these arguments which have taken place. Is there hope that very soon the status of Jammu and Kashmir as a state will be revived, and also about the electoral process?
Well, this is the most keenly watched, hearing in the Supreme Court by the people of Jammu and Kashmir, and almost everybody, be it the lawyers, political workers, and common people, they watch these daily hearings with great interest and hope as well. Because it has not only opened what happened on August 5, 2019, it has opened the larger question whether it is accession or making and unmaking of Article 370 over the last 70 years. So what happened today in the Supreme Court, many were saying that the center has actually reiterated what they have been saying for the last 4 years. Soon after the abrogation of Article 370 and dividing Jammu and Kashmir into 2 union territories, Prime Minister himself addressed the nation and said that the statehood of Jammu and Kashmir will be restored. Since then, that has been the stated position of Government of India, and the Home Minister has reiterated many times. Same position was, reflected by the Solicitor General before the Supreme Court today. He talked about holding these elections first, local elections first. Then it is the call of the Election Commission of India and State Election Commission to hold the assembly election, and then the statehood would come. So nothing new in this thing, but people have been keenly waiting and watching what is happening. And what would happen, would be the decision of the Supreme Court that would decide the fate of Jammu and Kashmir. Finally,
Right.
Center has given it its view, and the petitioners have also given their view that whatever has happened on August 5 was not constitutionally right. Ankit.
Nazir, thank you for joining us and getting us a sense of what the people are thinking there. But Dr. Qureshi, I want to start by asking you, sir, in the court today, largely the government has said, we have made situation much better. We are ready for elections any time. Election Commission has to decide the timeline. So what happens from here on, sir? Is that an indication for the Election Commission to roll out the process?
Yeah, it seems that the government has given a go-ahead in the sense, although Election Commission does not require government's permission, it is the sole discretion of the Election Commission of India to decide the timing of the election. But in view of the very special circumstances in J&K, when law and order situation was an issue to be tackled, that has been largely controlled, as mentioned to the Supreme Court. Now, the ball seems to be in Election Commission's court now. And let me make it very clear, the Election Commission of India is always ready. All it needs is the 2-3 months of logistical preparation. And first, the delimitation process was completed. Then electoral rolls have been updated. And I heard in the media that the rolls are almost complete and it's almost there. Now it's a question of fixing the dates. And obviously, then when you fix the date, then you have to see the weather and climate conditions. Obviously, December and January, February are the dates to be avoided in extreme winter situation. Therefore, Election Commission can conduct the elections very early, very quickly, within a couple of months. And I'm sure they are prepared.
Qureshi Sahab, I wanted to understand one thing also from you. The centre has also been saying that, we are moving towards that. We'll first conduct the panchayat polls and the block level polls, which already, one round have already taken place. So if if those elections can be conducted, the argument can then be, then how difficult could assembly elections be? If you can go to the last village and conduct the panchayat polls, then how difficult can the assembly elections be? Can't this process be, hastened up?
Yes, absolutely. You are absolutely right that if local body elections have been held, Vidhan Sabha elections can be held much more easily, because our experience nationwide is that the panchayat elections are a lot more difficult. There is more law and order problem. They are more closely contested. Vidhan Sabha and Lok Sabha elections, as you go lower, the elections become more difficult. Now here the one complication, where we are hearing confused things, that whether panchayat elections will come first or Vidhan Sabha first or together. Now together should be ruled out. Together will be impossible, because these are two independent authorities who conduct these elections. Now the local body elections are conducted by the State Election Commission, which is an independent constitutional body. It's not subordinate to the Election Commission of India. Therefore, now suppose they want one particular DM Election Commission says no, we want that DM, so there will be lots of logistical issues. So simultaneous election should not be considered. Whichever comes first can be decided between the government, election commission, and the two election commissions.
Sir, thank you so much. It was very important to understand what is the process and how quickly can the Election Commission go ahead with this business. Thank you for making our viewers understand the entire process. Always a pleasure having you on the broadcast. Ajay Alok, BJP spokesperson, Tanveer Sadiq, thank you so much for joining us as well. Ajay Alok, I want to start by asking you, the government says situation has improved. So what's holding the government back? If the panchayat election, like Mr. Qureshi was saying, can take place, if the block level elections can take place, so why is the government not moving and committing to a timeline?
See, the problem with Kashmir, you have to understand that there was never a grassroots democracy. When we say to the court, when the central government make a submission that we want to conduct the panchayat election first, then the municipal election, and then the state elections. That's the reason that we want this democracy in Jammu and Kashmir right to flourish from grassroots level and not from the rooftop level, that the first assembly election should be conducted and then we should go for municipal polls and panchayat polls. One round of panchayat polls has already been conducted, and we are seeing a very good, tremendous response among the people, where elected representatives at the grassroots level are coming up for the first time. See, the entire metamorphosis of Kashmir, if you understand, right from the independence and its accession, that continuously in the name of Article 370, the rights of the people were ignored absolutely. There were no local bodies elections, there were no reservations. I mean, the ST, SC and the women, they were left alone. It's absolutely a sense of anarchy with only three families ruling Kashmir. Today's situation has turned when 370 has been abrogated, and people are living a different life.
No, but Mr. Alok, while you make this argument that people were excluded and only 3 families were ruling, it's not that they were ruling by hereditary. They were ruling because the people were voting for them. So in order to give a certain amount of rights to people, when you are saying panchayat elections were not taking place, you have taken away the right of the people of the Assembly of Jammu and Kashmir, and for the people to decide who should govern them.
Not at all. Because if you see, the right of the people starts from the panchayat level and then it extends to the state level. What we are talking here is what will conduct panchayat poll, then municipal poll, and then will come to the state assembly polls and on the state poll panel. Okay. And right now is absolutely ready to conduct the election. Let the state poll panel decide first.
Okay, Tanveer Sadiq, the government has said we have created enough peace and situation on the ground where elections can take place. We are committed to restoration of statehood of Jammu and Kashmir. Why should this be seen with suspicion as far as the opposition or other political parties are concerned?
I think, Ankit, to start with, I think when you initially started the program, I think you gave us a list of so many things, and that should be an answer to Alok. But because, little knowledge is always dangerous. He doesn't understand that panchayat elections happened under Dr. Farooq Abdullah Saab, under Umar Abdullah Saab, and there were full panchayats before that. So unfortunately, that's the problem. They get to decide what happens in Jammu and Kashmir while they don't understand the genesis of what the Jammu and Kashmir problem is. Now, coming to the main point, I'll tell you what the problem is. The problem is they want to rule Jammu and Kashmir illegally from Delhi. Otherwise, please tell me, now it's been 4 years or almost 5 years since governor rule has now passed. It's 9 years since the last election. Tell me one place in the country where you don't hold elections and then claim that everything is fine, there is development. They are claiming that the situation has improved. Fine. If they are saying and if they claim that the situation has improved, they're getting G20 leaders here, they're having Miss World competition here. Please tell me, if after 5 years they still cannot claim or give us a time frame for election, then there is somewhere seriously something wrong, which either the BJP is hiding or probably they are scared to go in front of the people because they understand. So they have no support on the ground. If they had, trust me, Ankit, I know how BJP politics is and how important they take all the elections. So if they even had a single idea that they would win elections in Jammu and Kashmir, they would have held elections.
Let me take that to Mr. Ajay Alok. So Mr. Ajay Alok, the situation is so good that you keep pointing out figures of 1.8 crore tourists who have come and the G20 summit taking place there. but is it not good enough for elections to take place immediately? Or are there political consideration, as Tanveer Sadiq is saying, that are holding your party and the government back at this moment as far as the elections are concerned?
I would like to take you a little back to the history, to my friend, when he mentioned Dr. Farooq Abdullah. 1989, when resurgency suddenly erupted and thousands of Hindus were just made to leave the valley, what was the reason behind it? There was a mass anger. No, there was a mass anger of the people of Srinagar and the people of Valley Kashmir that the election were rigged. Do you call that democracy?
Unfortunately, that's what I'm saying.
Hold on.
Friends from the BJP are very good at emotional rhetoric, but actually they're not ready to listen.
Okay, hold on. Tanveer Saab, hold on for a second. Let him complete his point. I will come to you. You can then make your assumption on that. Go ahead, Mr. Alok.
I'm just saying the problem lies with the three families that they don't like democracy. They want democracy to function from their house. That's not going to happen again.
But Ajay Alok Saab, I don't understand this assertion. You keep saying that, problem lies with the three families. It's not that these three families are ruling as if they were kings. They have been elected by the people, the very genesis of democracy that you are talking about.
The very genesis of democracy I'm talking also now. When I talk of panchayat poll, when I talk of municipal poll, and then I talk of state assembly polls, I'm talking of democracy only.
But panchayat polls also took place in 2018.
Yes, it took place in 2014. It took place in 2014.
2018 as well, sir.
Sir, in 2005, the municipal election were held. 2005.
Hold on. Let him complete.
It was not that BJP was wiped out. We got a substantial number in Jammu Kashmir assembly. And right now, we are not afraid. What he is saying that we know the situation on the ground. Well, the situation on the ground is that you guys are outed.
Okay. Tanveer Sadiq, respond to what Ajay Alok is saying in conclusion. In conclusion, if the government wants to hold elections, let's say, at the end of this year, are the political parties, because when the government said that we will hold these panchayat elections, block level elections, your parties were against that. You did not participate.
See, the situation then was different. Today, the situation is different. Now, I'll tell the BJP spokesperson, my friend, I'll tell him one clear thing. If what he claims, and they keep on harping on this, that three families have looted Jammu and Kashmir, if now for the last 5 years they are ruling Jammu and Kashmir, I'm sure they have created so much difference in whatever they are claiming. Why not hold election? Let people decide. Let them come out to vote. If the people vote BJP to power, we will accept it. The reason they're not holding is the power is itself a big reason that they understand that they have lost the ground. Now, coming to the point, I mean, unfortunately, my friends from the BJP have a box of lies. Okay. You had municipal elections in 2005. Is he aware of that? The first time the Jammu and Kashmir had municipal elections, when Jammu mayor was from the BJP.
Okay.
Please make him understand. I mean, they need to first learn what's the actual problem with Jammu and Kashmir.
So whether it is the political considerations that are holding the elections back, or as the government says, they still want some more time to work on the ground before the elections can take place. The hearing, ladies and gentlemen, in the Supreme Court on this very, very important issue is at a very crucial juncture, and every single day is being watched very, very closely, not just only in Jammu and Kashmir, but across the country. Gentlemen, thank you so much for putting forward your point of view on this very important topic. News and updates on the other side with my colleague Vishnu Shom. Stay tuned with NDTV. Thank you so much for watching us.